What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant back again. Hold on, man. Twitter tripping. Oh man, they talking about premium account. I got the premium account, bro. Yeah, I had to just pop this on Twitter later. But what's good, everybody? It is Tony the Savant. Welcome to the rebranding of the One of One Sports Show. Oh snap! Sorry, guys. Let me turn this down. I was watching the summer league game, Minnesota Timberwolves and the Houston Rockets. Very entertaining game. Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepard facing off former Kentucky teammates. Two guys I'm a big fan of, to be honest. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the One of One Sports Podcast, episode one, rebranded in a couple of ways. And as we go along in this journey, I'll explain all of that. But if we don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off. Please hit the like button. Like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. Um, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because I go live daily, drop content daily, stay very busy on this platform. And last but not least, man, my favorite part, y'all please leave your thoughts and comments, your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always interested and intrigued to know what you all think about these topics. And let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because I am running late tonight. Do forgive me. Uh, but nonetheless, we're going to get right to this work. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to, if y'all don't mind supporting the channel, the platform. A lot of hard work, sweat, sleepless nights goes into this. So if you hit the cash app, you'll be definitely contributing to the growth and development of the channel. But let's get into our first topic. Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers, one of my favorite wide receivers in the game right now. If you've been living under a rock, if you haven't been following the San Francisco 49ers these past, I don't know, 12 months, yes, this whole situation may be foreign to you, but just to catch everybody up, standout wide receiver Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers has been putting up numbers, has had some impeccable seasons. I had his numbers somewhere around here in the notes, but for sure what he led the NFL in was receptions, yards per receptions, 17.9 was the number on that one. And now we have gotten to a point where Brandon Ayuk is on the last year of his either the last 2 years of his rookie deal, where he'll be making 14 million. And considering that his production has been superb, he's looking to get his extension earlier in his rookie deal, as well as just trying to get compensated for the work he's gotten. And at this point, the negotiations have been going on for quite some time. But at this point, we have, well, I could say we've been at a standstill in this situation, as Brandon Ayuk has been trying to get paid like some of the higher paid receivers in the league. Some names that come to mind: Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith of the Eagles as well, Jamar Chase. He's trying to get a big bag like those guys. And I'm not mad at that. I like Brandon Ayuk again. My opinion may be a little, biased. Um, but the 49ers are unwilling to give him their money. Also, the 49ers are unwilling to trade him. As you can see in the title, he's put in for a trade request, but the 49ers have both refused to pay him and refused to trade him. So just makes the stalemate even that much worse. But to give some history, the 49ers have been here before, as they have made a history of having these standoffs with their star players for whatever reason. I don't get it. I don't know why. Might just be a San Francisco thing, but they've had a standoff with one of their star players for the last 2, 3 years now, including this year. In 2022, it was Debo Samuels. Debo Samuels requested a trade. Last year, Nick Bosa didn't request a trade, but he ended up getting his payday a little later. And like late July, I recall that I was following that storyline as well. Debo Samuel, Debo Samuel's the same thing. I believe he ended up getting paid at the end of July as well, or somewhere later on. But he put in for a trade request. The 49ers totally ignored it and ended up getting him paid. Another situation that I totally forgot about was Robbie Gold. Robbie Gold had a bit of a standoff with the 49ers in 2019, I believe it was. And so he was in the same situation. Like I said, the 49ers have shown a history of this behavior, going to have these games of chicken, if you will, with their star players. But what can we say? Um, Me personally, I believe that Brandon Ayuk is a number one receiver. I would have personally, me in 2022, let Debo walk if he didn't, get on a more friendlier deal but in 2022, I should throw it because I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit. 2022, that was before the ascension of Brock Purdy. Another reason for this whole standoff situation is that the 49ers are trying to reserve a couple pennies later on down the line for Brock Purdy, the standout rookie who had a sensational season last year. They're trying to, hold out for his payday, and also they're trying to hold out a little bit so they can get Brock Purdy before his rookie deal is up, and they can get him on a bit of a friendlier contract. As the top guys right now are making upwards of 50, 55, $60 million a year. And the 49ers just wouldn't be able to afford that to pay Brock Purdy that much. So they're trying to work out a deal with Brandon Ayuk. I heard that the number that they're trying to give him is about 26 million. Um, which me personally, I'm like, hey, to get this whole situation over with, I'll take that 26 if I'm Brandon Ayuk. I think the highest paid receiver right now is Justin Jefferson. I think he's making somewhere in the early 30s, 32, something like that, if I'm not right. 30, if not 30 even. So, of course, as good as Brandon Ayuk is, he ain't in that echelon just yet, that tier of the receivers as the guys that have gotten that money have been the number one option on their team. They play with the franchise guy. They play with the backups and still put up their numbers. So respectfully, you can't really argue with those top guys, but I wouldn't put Brandon Ayuk at that table just yet. I would put him about the 26 million a year table. I would take that, but that's just the number that they've been trying to work out with Brandon Ayuk, considering the fact they're trying to save money for Brock Purdy down the line. This is a quarterbacks league. We all know Brock Purdy is going to get paid eventually. He's already made a Super Bowl appearance. He's already had outstanding numbers. So, we're not ignorant to how the business goes. But anyway, Brandon Ayuk, um, yes, has put in his trade request. The situation here, though, is it ain't gonna be no fun because the rabbit don't have the gun in this situation. The San Francisco 49ers have all of the leverage here. They got Brandon Ayuk, I believe, for another 2 years under his rookie deal. In addition to that, they don't have to trade him. They don't have to. They can act like they didn't hear a word he said when he put in that trade request. At this point, Brandon Ayuk is at a standstill. So much so that it would be at a disadvantage for Brandon Ayuk at this point to try and to try to continue his holdout. He's already paid upwards of $100,000. If he continues to hold out by the time preseason begins, he would have paid about almost $1 million. About $829,000. I believe the number was. And then if the preseason starts and Brandon Ayuk continues to hold out, I believe that the San Francisco 49ers can penalize him as well, severely. I forget what the number was. And then this is another thing, guys. I believe he can get penalized up to 829,000. Um, Before if this continues on, but by the time the first preseason game starts, if Brandon Ayuk ain't out there, then the San Francisco 49ers can tax him 829 right then and there that game for each game. So I believe that's what I had read. It's just the point of the matter that it's not even worth it. By the end of the day, that 14 million that he would have been planned for would have been 12 million by the time this whole situation is over, just because he's holding out for that money. So, and also the San Francisco 49ers could also franchise tag Brandon Ayuk for 24 million, 22 million, excuse me. So it's just a lot of moving pieces. Very interesting situation, even at this point in all of the hoopla. Because now, like I said, Brandon Ayuk can put in a trade request all he wants. He has no leverage. He'll only be losing money in this situation, and it's kind of unfortunate for the young man. But I totally get where he's coming from. You know, the NFL, if y'all don't know, it stands for not for long. You know what I mean? Anything can happen. You can take a big hit. You can be injured, and the whole trajectory of your career can be changed. We've seen this movie many a times in the NFL. So a lot of these guys try to get their bags early, or within a good fair time frame if they produced. Again, I like Brandon Ayuk. I believe he's the number one wide receiver. The moment you get rid of a Brandon Ayuk, you'll be looking for another Brandon Ayuk in the trade market and free agency. Blase, blase. The young man has the goods. So I believe that you work this thing out. And again, me personally, I would have let Debo Samuel walk. Debo Samuel is a fantastic football player. But he reminds me of the dude Cordell Patterson. If y'all don't know who Cordell Patterson is, he's played with a multitude of teams in the NFL. He plays with the Steelers, I believe, right now. But Cordell Patterson plays wide receiver. He plays running back. He does kick returns, punt returns. He's just like the all-purpose guy. Debo reminds me of him, just a higher, a better version of that. But at the same, if I'm looking for what I need in my offense, I'm looking for a Brandon Ayuk, especially when you're talking about a guy that could pair up well with Brock Purdy. It'd be definitely be good for him and Brock Purdy's growth. Even with all of this holding out, the situation is only going to work against Brandon Ayuk even further, because he's not going to be getting that chemistry with Brock Purdy. And also he'll be, this is a contract year. If he doesn't get his extension right now, this is a contract year, and you want to look the best you can and have the as best rapport around the league as you can, so nothing can really hold you up or be an excuse for why you can't get your money. So, it's furthermore reason why Brandon Ayuk shouldn't hold out. But this is the situation we're in. And like I said, it's a very unfortunate situation for the young man. Big fan of Brandon Ayuk, but this game of chicken isn't looking good for him, just because the San Francisco 49ers are the semi truck in this situation. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens. There's been some rumors about some possible trade, spots. I'm hearing the Jets. I'm hearing the Chiefs. I don't believe that the San Francisco 49ers would deal him to the Chiefs for sure, considering that's the team that has beaten them twice in the Super Bowl. You don't want to give them, if y'all happen to get back there a third time against one another, you don't want to give them a possible, producer that could be the reason why y'all lose another Super Bowl to them. So, but the Chiefs and the Jets were just some rumor mill teams I've heard, putting their early hats in the game in the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes. But we'll see how this thing unfolds, because, like I say, it's a very interesting situation, to say the least. I've been following it since the inception of it. I'm also I like my Packers. That's my team. I love my Packers, as y'all can see. Boom, I got the team up there representing. But at the same time, the 49ers are one of those teams that, if my team ain't winning, I wouldn't mind seeing the 49ers get it. They've been one of those legendary teams since I've been watching in the NFL that I like. They've been my Madden team a few times, back in the Kaepernick days before he went crazy. So I like the 49ers, man. I hate the situation for them. I would like to see them get over the hump. They've been there a few times, not been able to get the job done. I like Brock Purdy a lot, so just kind of hoping the best for an enemy. You know what I mean? An enemy team of mine, because Aaron Rodgers, that's my dog, but he never beat the 49ers in the postseason, ladies and gentlemen. Not once. Not in the he didn't beat Jimmy G. He didn't beat Colin Kaepernick. He didn't beat Alex Smith. We got three different versions. I don't know if we faced off with Jimmy G, but definitely Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. And we didn't beat any of those teams. So any of those versions of the 49ers, you know what I mean? So So yeah, I hate to even say what I'm saying, but I like the 49ers, the brand anyway. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all on that segment. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. As well, if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. Join the fam as I drop content daily, go live daily. Always busy on this platform. Many sleepless nights just to keep this thing going. Um, and last but not least, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. How do y'all feel about this Brandon Ayuk situation? I've tried to do some deep diving, investigating into this situation, try to find a few more facts that some people may not be aware of out there. Because I want to see the best for this whole situation. I want to see Brandon Ayuk get his bag. I would like to see the 49ers, with Brock Purdy under center. I would like to see this version with all this talent that they have. I would hate for it to just be all for naught. All that they've been through, much like I did with the Boston Celtics, man. If y'all been rocking with me for, I was cheering for the Boston Celtics because that's another team. The San Francisco 49ers remind me of the Boston Celtics as far as just having a good team, a contending team, always in the mix, keep getting in, to the best game, and then just never getting over the hump. Man, crazy to me. But let's move on to our next segment. We're talking about LeBron James Jr. As he has had some decent games these past two outings. I don't know his final score as they played this evening. I didn't know they had a back to back, but I watched the game yesterday. It happened to come on after the Indiana Fever and Dallas Wings game. I did a live play-by-play with that, so y'all go check that out on the platform. If you missed the game, if you like to know how the game went, play-by-play anyway. But Bronny James last night had 12 points on 5 of 11 shooting, went 2 of 5 from the three-pointer. And tonight, I didn't get his final stat line because as I was getting prepped for the show, the game was still going on. So I didn't get his final stat line. But when I tuned in, when I tuned away from the game, he had already had 8 points, in the first half, I believe, and was doing his thing. I think he had a three. I think he hit a three. I'm not sure, but at the same time, this is good, man. And I know I've been deemed a Bronny James hater for whatever reason. I'm not. I've on record with saying I like Bronny James. I watched Bronny James grow up online, if you will, as his entire childhood for the words of a better word has been on the internet. So, uh, I'm looking at this Dillingham. Excuse me, uh, Minnesota game versus the Houston Rockets. Uh, this is a game I actually wanted to see. Like I said, I didn't know that Bronny James was playing tonight. I was looking forward to seeing this game. Thought about calling it, but I can't call a summer league game. It'd be too many no-name dudes, uh, and I like to do my research on players before I call a game, just so it can it can flow smoother. But anyway, Ronnie James has had two good outings. My thing though is that what we doing, man. Well, we can't give the maximum praise for the minimum results. If anything, Ronnie James should be averaging 12 points a game. Now, again, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, or whatever. The bronze sexuals, they come for me every day. I like that. I don't mind it, but at the same time, Ronnie James, as a spectacular, as he is, as good as he is not lived up to the hype just yet. And I don't blame Ronnie James, at all. This is not an indictment on him at all. He's just kind of like catching strays because this is all to his pops, man. If y'all recall, LeBron James opened his mouth in March of 2023 talking about talking about Bronny James is better than some NBA players. Some bronze sexuals was attacking me because I said half. They get real wordy. If you're talking against LeBron James, they acknowledge the tweet, but won't acknowledge what LeBron James said. As LeBron James said that he felt like Bronny James is better than some NBA players. That's cap. You know what I mean? He's not better than any of these guys in the summer league so far. And also in January of 2024, LeBron James said that Bronny James could get rotational minutes on the LA Lakers. Why would you say this stuff, bro? You know what I mean? Why would you say this? Now, not me personally, no. I'm not gonna sit there and just kill Bronny and all that stuff. Excuse my language, but I'm not gonna just sit here and be making 100 videos talking bad on the guy. You know what I mean? I don't think he's a kid. I think he's a man. I think he's in the professional ranks. And once you get to the professional ranks, you swimming with the sharks. Let's just be honest, man. We can go back to Kwame Brown. When Kwame Brown came into the league, he was 19 years old, and Stephen A. Smith didn't give him a day off. Every day since every day since Kwame Brown has been associated with the NBA, up until about what 2023, when Stephen A. Smith gave that sorry, sad, dry apology to Kwame Brown after dragging this man's name for 2 decades. It was inexcusable how Stephen A. Smith talked about Kwame Brown when he was 19 and he came into the NBA. And Kwame Brown was, let's be honest, y'all, he was at least twice as better than Bronny James is right now. The man was at least getting rebounds. He was at least putting up 10 points a game. And the media didn't give Kwame Brown a break to the extent they still don't. You know what I mean? There's still dudes in the media that talk greasy about Kwame Brown. Let's go back to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was 17 when he came into the league, and nobody gave him a day off. If you've been watching the NBA, if you know about Kobe, you know vividly about those air balls in Utah. I believe that was in '96. Young Kobe shot up a couple air balls in a playoff game, and the media ain't coddle him. They didn't say give him some time to develop. No, they went after Kobe, and they still go after to a degree. Some of these media do still go after Kobe to this day. So, respectfully, Bronny James is amongst men, and he will be analyzed and criticized as a man. But like I say, I have no qualm against Bronny James personally, and I've said this 100 times. The Bronsexuals, they're delusional, so there ain't no point in talking to them with logic anyway. I just kind of troll the Bronsexuals. But anyway, I feel personally that Bronny James, I have no qualm against him. 100% got no qualm. Uh, Baby bro, what's goody, man? Finna hit that line, bro. I had to do this show. I got to get consistent with the work. This my baby bro Jeezy. Bron put too much pressure on him, as you're saying. I'm not a basketball follower, but I know Bronny wasn't mentally ready. But yeah, exactly, baby bro. And look, you know what I mean? That's the godfather of my son right there, Najee Canada. But even as his godfather, you got to be able to. We got to be as men and as the father figures. We got to be the ones to protect the kids, bro. We got to be the one to protect the kids. Let's just keep it a dollar. Bronny James, LeBron James has been in the NBA for 20 years. You know what I mean? He knows the kind of pressure that comes from the media, that comes from the haters, that comes from the trolls. Why would you subject your son to that? He ain't ready. As a father, I would love for my son to do what I'm doing, but let's just say he's not ready to be on camera. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna force the man to get on. Get over because I want us to be on camera together. Like, come on, bro, you bugging. Even if my son don't got no interest in sports, whatever your lane is, I'm gonna be proud of him. Bronny James to me seems to be a fantastic video gamer. The man just won this Call of Duty tournament. That seems to be so. He was excited as hell. I watched the whole little clip of him playing Call of Duty. Bronny James was excited. He looked happy. He was amongst his friends. He just doing his thing. Bronny James, he did now. When you talking about him in the media, I don't refer to him as a kid because he's 19 and paying taxes like all of us. But when he's amongst his friends, he just like a kid, man. Just like that's what he want to do. That's what he want to do, enjoying his life. It's almost like Space Jam, the LeBron James Space Jam, bro. When his son just wanted to play video games and LeBron forced the man to play basketball. I ain't never seen the movie, but I remember reading the synopsis, and I believe that's how that went. But anyway, Bronny James. He had two good outings, put up 12 points in both games. I think 13 and one, maybe. As I just seen the ticker just put up his stats. But I believe he put up another 12 ball tonight. But I'm not going to give him maximum praise for no minimum. You know what I mean? This is what he's supposed to be averaging. Bronny James supposed to be averaging 12 points a game. You dig? He's still averaging less than 5 points in the summer league. So not cool, at all. And I believe the Lakers lost again tonight, the summer league Lakers. So all in all, hey, Jeezy, you right, bro. The young man just not ready. It's a lot of pressure that come with this. And when you get into the professional ranks, you amongst the rest of us, bro. You're gonna be criticized, you're gonna be analyzed. And again, we can go down in sports history, not just NBA history, but let's just say stick with the NBA. How many dudes has come into the league straight from high school and they didn't get no protection program from the media. You know what I mean? But also it wasn't necessary because they dads wasn't yiggity yakking all day, putting their sons in weird positions because, like I said, this is all on LeBron James, man. Them tweets from March 2023 and January 2024 putting all this pressure on LeBron James Jr. It's just like, bro, stop the cap, man. Stop the cap. Jesus say, nah, for real. Man, you know what I mean? That's why I say, and I ain't gonna ever say the man a bad father or nothing like that, but this was a bad move, as a father. Like I say, part of your job, yes, is to set up your kids for success and all that kind of good stuff. But part of your job is to protect them. You know what I mean? As long as you can, try to protect them from some of the harsh realities of the world. As they get older, they'll get a taste of it themselves. But you're not supposed to be the one. I don't believe in that. No way. You're not supposed to be the one to just throw your kids to the wolves and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This makes me look better. Like, what? You wilding out here, Brian. But again, I'm gonna shoot some. I gotta shoot Bronny James his credit. Looked a lot better these last two games. Again, I didn't get to watch the complete game tonight. I'll catch the rerun on NBA TV tonight. But look good, man. They look decent. I'll say the game last night that I watched. He looked better in the first half. Like he was hitting shots in the first half, making plays, almost got a steal at one point, putting in a lot of defensive effort. The second half, bro, it was like, where did Bronny go? Where did APB like he ain't hit no more shots? So he got all his stats in the first half and then kind of disappeared. I would like to see Bronny James sustain some success. That's what the NBA, that's what being a professional athlete is. You sustain success. You know what I'm saying? By the time you come into the rec leagues, it's nothing for you. You know what I mean? So again, though, I'm gonna get a young man this credit, and I don't want to make this a LeBron stream. Y'all know how I feel about Brown. We got plenty content. In fact, we'll talk about that clown a little bit later tonight, as I got some Team USA news as well. Before we get to that part, ladies and gentlemen, as we end this segment, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel and going live. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Join the fam as I go live daily, drop content daily. And last but not least, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. If y'all don't mind, shout out to my brother Jeezy, man. Love that boy. All right, let's move on to our next segment. We got WNBA All-Star Weekend. Yes, sir. The ladies are going at it. And I seen a documentary today about the Houston Rockets. I'm gonna say this disclaimer, man, for everybody out there that be talking crazy about the WNBA. I still see a lot of crazy talk about the WNBA. This is what you got to do first. Stop expecting the WNBA to be the NBA. A lot of these dudes that's out here criticizing the WNBA, it's because you looking at it and you expecting to see the same, quality. Let me say it like that. Don't expect the same quality. No more than when you go to a high school game, you're not expecting them young boys to be playing like Steph, LeBron, Katie. You ain't expecting Team USA when you go to a high school game, even if it's the championship game and two of the, there's a couple guys on the court that got names, all that kind of stuff. You're never going to get the same quality. And so for a disclaimer for everybody out there, the WNBA, man, you just got to appreciate it for what it is. You know what I mean? It's the most athletic women hoopers in the game doing their thing, and it don't look good all the time. Let me say this. It don't look good. I called the Chicago Sky versus the Aces game. I was visibly frustrated. I had to rerun, watch the tape for study purposes, and I was getting visually upset because the Chicago Sky, man, it was just throwing the ball away like repeatedly. Like, bro, imagine watching your team. If I was the coach on that team and I'm watching them, I'm like, hey, quit passing the ball, G. I don't even know what we're gonna do. Stop pass. Don't even pass the ball. Just catch the violation, man. It's just as good because how they was coming up the court, just throwing them up away. It's like, oh my goodness. So that's what I want to do. Just throw a little disclaimer out there. The WNBA is definitely not the NBA, but these ladies be doing their thing respectfully. And I'm not gonna watch too much of the WNBA All Star Game because they don't take it serious, man. I seen one, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, and they was out there just as bad as the NBA players, as far as just clowning around, just throwing the ball around, all that kind of stuff. I might not catch the game. I will say this: I am excited to see Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on the same squad. The media has been doing their best to pit these young ladies against each other with all the narratives and all that stuff. So I am excited to see what these young ladies will look like on the same squad. In addition to Aaliyah Boston, man, when I called the Indiana Fever game, Aaliyah Boston put up 28 points. I mean, Shorty, sweetheart is a her. You know what I mean? She don't get no attention because she's playing next to Caitlin Clark. But Aaliyah Boston is, I say right now, she's the one player in all the athletics that just stole my respect because I didn't know too much about her. I knew she, I seen her a little bit at South Carolina. I didn't really follow her, the Indiana Fever. I didn't follow the Indiana Fever last season. I was just kind of following my sky. But at the same time, she's been doing her thing, and since game one, she kind of started out slow earlier this season. But I say these last 15 games or so, she's really caught in her groove. And she ended off the first half of the season, like I say, with a 28 burger. So very impressive. I'm gonna love to see her, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese all on the same squad. In addition to some other names, in addition to Team USA. Of course, we got Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart. The Team USA team, I did a review of them, man. It's stacked. It's very stacked. And as somebody that's been following the WNBA, even just in my, moderate level, I'm familiar with all these ladies, all their resumes. The Team USA team is all the all the hitters. I'll be shocked if the men's basketball team do better than the women's, to be honest. Because, with Asia Wilson and Stewie, Brianna Stewart, that's all we really need. We sending them two over there. You can send a couple tomato cans with them, but them two alone are just so versatile, so elite. But also, we got Sabrina Ionescu. She's another player that I say last season she took my respect. You know what I mean? She was in that same category as Aaliyah Boston is. As I was just kind of learning and seeing her do her thing, getting her bag, and of course she did the head-to-head thing with Steph Curry. Almost won that. So Sabrina Ionescu is another one of my favorite players right now with Team USA, and this might shock some people, man. This gonna shock some people, but Diana Taurasi has really been, the old head, the vet. It's me and DT got a mixed relationship because sometimes she be saying some wild stuff. She done said some cringe stuff in the media, and I was really kind of against her when she was coming at Caitlin Clark, but seeing how things unfolded, she's another person that now off conventional wisdom, not just on basic basketball skills, but DT, I feel like she's gonna be the Kobe, that 2008 a la Kobe for the Dream Team, or excuse me, the Redeem Team. I think DT gonna be that kind of voice for this team because she just brings so much wisdom. She said that it was gonna be a rough start for Caitlin Clark, but and that's why I say I made a video, attacking her expertise respectfully. I'll never do that again. DT obviously knows more about the game than me, but I'm excited to see Team USA out there as well. I'm not exactly sure how the rotation is going to go because, of course, you would hate for somebody to get injured and all that kind of stuff before you go on an international campaign. So we'll see how the starting lineups and all that go. Like I say, I don't know if I'm gonna call the game just yet because I hate to call a game and then it's a total waste of my time because they out there playing. I would never call an NBA off. I will if they clean it up. They actually make it competitive again. But like I say, I watched the WNBA All-Star game last season. And they was out there playing, bro. I'm like, man, I had to turn it off like second quarter. I'm like, come on, G, y'all are just throwing the ball like this. Not even worse than it is in the organized games. You know what I mean? Like they was literally just throwing that motherfucker away. But yeah, man, All-Star Weekend is this weekend. Friday night, tomorrow night, they got the skills challenge. I'm excited to see what that's about, as they got everybody from Brittany Griner, who's a damn near 7-foot center, to Erica Wheeler, the backup point guard for the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's team. So I'm excited to see what the skills challenge is and what it's going to look like, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I'm going to tap in for the game, man. I don't know if I'm going to call it. I'll make that decision, say, tomorrow night, Saturday morning-ish. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping it's exciting. I'm hoping it's gonna be a good game. Perhaps we might see Sabrina and Caitlin go at it, bro. Just go for a 3 for 3 for a couple possessions. Before we get to the next segment, ladies and gentlemen, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. Also subscribe if you have not, and leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Thank y'all for the love and support. Let's get to the Team USA segment. This is something I wanted to chop it up about because I got concerns. I got worries. Now, the other day, what was it? Yesterday, I believe it was. We faced off against what was it, Serbia, Joker and those guys. We faced off against Serbia. There was nothing to worry about. You know, it was a 26-point victory. My boy Steph went crazy doing what Steph do. Led all scores with 24 points. Shout out to AD and Bam. AD and Bam. I wouldn't be surprised if Bam recruit AD to Miami, bro. These two dudes play so good together. They're so athletic, and they were just shutting down everything. They gave Joker the flux yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't never seen Joker play that bad. And actually, I didn't see this game live. I had to go watch it on the NBA TV. Watch it on NBA TV, a rerun. But if it was live, man, I would have been tweeting like, "Damn, Joker, you trash, bro!" Like he was out there trash, Bubble Dub trash. So it was like, and he was. You know, I would say this, man. I don't know if Joker is the same kind of player on his international team than he is in the States with the Denver Nuggets. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like dude got a little bit more of that diva in him with the Serbia team. Because it's like, who gonna say what to him? You know what I mean? The man's making a fortune. He probably owned the coach. You know, like whatever the coach tell him to do, like throw it to Joker, whatever Joker want to do. Especially since he's an NBA champion, MVP, got cachet in the game. But yesterday he looked trash, man. And I think that's going to change when things actually settle down, as it was just an exhibition game. I should throw that out there, put that disclaimer on it. Just an exhibition game, don't count for nothing. It's basically just cardio for these guys to get ready for international competition. But we face off against them again July 28th. That's when we start our international competition with Serbia. We'll see Joker again then. And perhaps we'll see him a third time during this international competition in the medal game, the gold game, if they make it that far, if we make it that far. Never forget LeBron James got us 2 bronze medals, all right, in America. And that man was the leader of that team. Don't let him tell you that any different. You know, it's funny how when LeBron James came into the league, everybody was hitting us with he the chosen one. You know, he the Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson hybrid. I remember all this cap, bro. I was only 15. I remember this cap vividly. This is when I first noticed propaganda in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what's going on, bro? Why are we doing this? But at the same time, they was giving LeBron James a lot of flowers. And I'm not mad at all of that, but when he came up short, it was during the Olympic Games, came up with the bronze in 2004, 2005, got the bronze medal again in the FIBA Games in 2005, 2006. And that's when Kobe had to hit the line. He had to hit Coach K up like, I'm coming through, bro. These dudes, well, actually, they recruited, Melo, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, all those guys went and recruited Kobe. But when Kobe made his ultimate decision, he ended up calling Coach K. He was like, yeah, I'll do it because I'm tired of y'all losing. Hey, that's why I say I need Steph to play the Kobe role, man. Rest in peace in the Mamba. We need a go-to guy to go crazy. Now, Steph did that yesterday because we were struggling. We kind of had to struggle on the offense, and then Steph started doing Steph teams. But at the same time, if it come down to us depending on LeBron James, boy, if Joe Biden wasn't enough, LeBron James bringing us a bronze medal to the crib, man. That's gonna look bad for the crib. So, like I say, man, shout out to Team USA. I'm definitely supporting them. I'll be calling those games for sure. Like I said, it starts on July 28th, the big sister's birthday. Shout out to Kels. So that's when we'll begin international competition versus Joker once again in Serbia. I'm looking forward to that. Just one other mention. I think that this international competition, we're gonna see Anthony Edwards. This is my hot take, y'all. Let me get my YouTube short ready real quick. All right. Sip the coffee. We gonna see Anthony Edwards take his game up another level. Now, I'm not gonna cap. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Anthony Edwards is gonna be the quote unquote savior, the team leader, all that. He was in the media the other day talking about he the number one option. Stop the cap. Stop the cap, man. But so far in these, other than yesterday, he's been our leading scorer. The first game, I think he had like 14. The other day, he had about 14. Not gonna score a lot of points with Team USA. Just the time, there's not as much time in the game. I think it's only 10-minute quarters, as well as you got to get the ball distribution, let everybody eat. Sorry guys. Rob Dillingham is doing some dirty, man. He going crazy out here. Every time I look up, they showing this man doing something crazy. But Anthony Edwards, I feel like he gonna have his ascension in this Olympic Games. So much so that the next season it's gonna come back and it's gonna be very good for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Speaking of the Minnesota Timberwolves, this young man Rob Dillingham could very well be the point guard. Backup point guard, work his way up to starting point guard for Anthony Edwards in the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, but Ant-Man has really been impressing me, just as far as how he's ingratiated himself with all this talent, and is also being able to get his points. Not really scoring efficiently, but still hitting shots when we need them. Him and Devin Booker been wet, bro. I don't think Devin Booker missed a shot yet. Every time I see them practicing, he hitting everything. Every time I see him on the real court, he hitting everything. Him and Kevin Durant as well. So we'll see what happens with KD. Maybe I should throw this out there too, man, because I didn't put this in the segment. But let's talk a little bit about Jaylen Brown real quick. Jaylen Brown, and I didn't make a video. I think I made a YouTube short, but Jaylen Brown was apparently snubbed from Team USA. And yesterday he made some headlines because he sent out that weak tweet, walking back what he said about Bronny James, as far as Bronny James not being a pro or whatever, which I feel like that's cap. That's crazy. Not saying that Bronny James isn't a pro or anything like that. I'm saying, why is these guys, these NBA professional guys, not standing on business? Nobody in the NBA has said anything about Bronny James when everybody knows the truth. Like, he ain't ready for the NBA, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the moment we get somebody to say something about it, the bronsexuals, they go right attacking Jaylen Brown. Rich Paul, this dude is mad crazy, bro. This man said yesterday on the Pat McAfee interview, you might have said yesterday or today, but on the Pat McAfee interview, you're talking about, Jaylen Brown didn't mean it. Like, what you mean Jaylen Brown didn't mean it, bro? I don't think Jaylen Brown is the kind of guy that just say stuff just to say stuff, especially in his private time. Because when they caught him, saying this, it was with his old lady, the and I can't remember her name, Kyrie. But she used to play for the Chicago Sky, and she ended up getting cut. I didn't really remember her too much, on the Chicago Sky being effective, but she got cut off our squad. So apparently now she's dating Jaylen Brown. They was having a conversation, and they was telling the truth. You know what I mean? And they just kind of caught him on the hot mic. Somebody recorded him, caught him on the hot mic, and you can see Jaylen Brown clearly saying Bronny James ain't a pro. And then I think his old lady said, like, yeah, he only in here because of his name. Everybody know this, bro, but you will never hear an NBA player say it, because I don't know why these dudes ain't got the heart, bro. They like, I don't know why they scared of LeBron James, first and foremost. Say what you will, everybody that I like and everybody that I listen to, for the most part, they got a realistic perspective on LeBron James. Some of them are still bronsexuals, some of the YouTubers and mainstream guys I listen to, but they ain't the kind of dudes to just be unrealistic with, what LeBron is and where he's at in his career, not trying to sell him as the best thing ever. But yeah, anyway, all these dudes ain't gonna tell the truth about Bronny James. And I guess it's because LeBron James could whoop him or something. I don't know. LeBron James pull up with some SUVs, about 12 black SUVs at your crib, and get to, threatening you because you won't sing the praises to his untalented son. It's crazy work out here, you know what I mean? But anyway, Rich Paul said that Jaylen Brown didn't mean it. And this was I think Jalen Brown soon thereafter tweeted what he tweeted. I can't remember the tweet exactly, but he walked back, what he said. He did say something in the tweet about Bronny James having the tools around him to be successful, which is still like a slight, considering the fact that, he didn't say Bronny James has the tools himself. He said Bronny James has the tools around him. So we all know that to be true, especially when Rich Paul coming out here, who is not Jalen Brown's agent, right? He ain't Jalen Brown's agent. I ain't never seen Jalen Brown and Rich Paul in the same court or same room. And how you speaking for this man? It's wild. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Rich Paul is a madman, bro. I would love to have a. I'm gonna get my platform big enough to get Rich Paul on here for an interview or something like that, and I'm just gonna fry him the whole time. Like, bro, he said something else that was funny. It's funny to me because as soon as he said it, my brain just worked the way it works. But he said something like, Jalen Brown is qualified to say something like, Bronny James. No. He said something like that. Jalen Brown can have an opinion because he played in the NBA and all this kind of stuff. And, he's a former player, or he's a player right now in the NBA and all this kind of stuff. Basically saying if you don't play in the NBA, you can't have an opinion on the NBA. And it just made me click like, bro, you ain't never played in the NBA. What are you talking about? you talking about this person ain't qualified, this person is qualified. Rich Paul ain't never laced up a shoe, put on an NBA jersey, and as far as playing the game, ain't never sweat on the NBA court. Like, come on, bro, what are you talking about? If you saying something like somebody like me ain't qualified, who've I played basketball in my life up into the collegiate level, I'm not gonna say professionals. I ain't get that far, whatever reasons. But at the same time, somebody that know and love the game, all right, cool. If I'm not qualified because I've never played professional basketball, Rich Paul, you ain't qualified either, clown. This dude is just funny. So that's why I say I would love to have him on my platform, because Pat McAfee was giving them soft old questions, just some old toss-up questions. But if I had him on my platform, we cooking, bro. I'm frying them. I'm like, bro, how you just be up there just saying whatever? You just be saying whatever. I remember him telling a story about how he met LeBron James. Man, I made a video on it. I can't recall in details, but it was just so much cap in the story, bro. He was just capping, like, because in 2003, these dudes be forgetting they already told us a version of the story, right? So you dig up the old version of the story, you don't sound nothing like the new version of the story, and it's like, what's the reason? What is the reason? Like, but in the new version of the story, he came out of nowhere like, yeah, I was selling drugs, wearing NBA jerseys, and LeBron James walked up to me. Talking about he said something on the lines like LeBron James was liked his shoes or his jersey or something like that, and that's how they became boys and friends. I'm like, I thought y'all met in Akron, Ohio. I ain't trying to say Akron is not dangerous or whatever, but I thought y'all met in Akron, my guy. Like, yeah, that's what the original story was anyway. So anyway, Rich Paul is a character, man. I would love for my platform to be big enough just for him to give me the time of day. He pull up, we cooking them. We cooking them, y'all. Man, I'm gonna make sure I promote that stream. Snap. Sorry, guys. But before we get to the next segment, once again, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Definitely appreciate the love and the support. As I go live daily, drop content daily, stay busy on the platform. Don't want y'all to miss anything. And last but not least, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment box below, as so we can chop it up about these segments. Tell me what y'all think. Well, how y'all thinking? What's the temperature in the room for y'all with Team USA basketball? You think we're gonna bring home the gold? Who you think gonna be our lead guy? Because that's always an interesting part about Team USA. See who's the who are going to be the lead guys outside, because it's always going to be done by committee, right? And nobody's going to be averaging 30 points on Team USA, but always dope to see who's going to be the tops guy. But anyway, let's get into our last segment. My favorite boxer in the game right now, Terrence Bud Crawford, has a boxing match coming up with Israel. Ooh, I spelled that very wrong, didn't I? It's Israel, not Israq. Madrimov. Uh, let me correct that. Let me correct that for the sake of when we clip it up later. Make it aesthetic. There we go. Israel Madrimov. I want to say if I'm saying his name right. So I was able to do my study on these two guys. I watched a couple of Israel's fights. Nice guy, he's a nice fighter, bro. I'm learning more and more about boxers now as I'm researching guys that I'm not too familiar with. Kind of watching names and other names on the card, if you will, watching some of their previous fights. Israel Majamov has happened to be one of those guys this time around, and I gotta say, man, he has a very exciting skill set. He's an explosive fighter. He's one of those dudes that will get into a firefight with you. Has a nice, lunging right hook, almost Mike Tyson, Roy Jones esque. He has a lot of raw power as well. As I seen him finish off one fight, I was watching him. He lunged into, I believe, a left hook. Clean dude up. I mean, like the dude falling, and Israel hit him so hard that he started falling a little bit with him. He caught himself, but just a lot of raw power. And I think this dude, he's a bigger fighter than Bud Crawford. That's another thing. He's very much so bigger than Bud Crawford. He's a natural 154 pounder as Bud is moving up for this fight, coming from 147. Israel also has nice footwork, very nice footwork. What I was able to see from his fights, able to be a little elusive, even though he has a bigger frame, almost Canelo esque. Canelo is a 168 guy, but moves very nice on his feet as well. The only problem I got to say about Israel Majamal's boxing skill set is that he doesn't have much of a defense, and he does this thing, excuse me, when he throws his power punches. He throws a lot of power punches because of that raw power. Because he's a younger guy, he's much younger. I can't recall. I think he's like 28, but it's 36. But anyway, when he throws that raw power punch, he leaves his face open for some counters. And Bud is a master at countering. Bud will feint, step back, and hit you with something. And if y'all want to know, I believe the first knockdown. If you need to go watch the clip, the tape, go watch the first knockdown between him and Errol Spence. Exactly what I'm talking about right now. Errol Spence did the same thing. Excuse me. He went for a jab to the body, as that's something that Israel Majamal likes to do to start fights off. He likes to establish his body jab, which is, if everything, if the moon lines up for Bud Crawford, Bud gonna clean him up just like he did Errol early. You know what I mean? Because the exact same thing. Errol likes to hit you with the jab. He likes to hit you with the body jab. But what Israel and Errol do, they leave their face open when they go for that body jab. And again, that's something that Bud Crawford, that's right in his wheelhouse as far as being able to step back, get on his back foot, and hit you with a left hook that's going to, send you back a week. So, that's the one flaw I see in Israel Majamal's game. If he's able to clean that up, if they're cleaning that up in camp right now, this is going to be a tough fight for Bud, man. You know what I'm saying? This Bud has been one of my favorite fighters for some time now. I've had my criticisms about Bud. I ain't one of them fanboys that's just ignorant and blind to anything my guy does. Bud and Errol have always been my guys, so it was very conflicting for me July 29th, 2023 when they had to face off. But I said I was gonna walk out of that fight. You know what I mean? I was really rooting for Arrow. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Truth was gonna be able to pull it off, just stylistically. Uh, and if y'all, I'll go down the history of that fight. Man, between Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, I got my criticisms and my praises for both of them for different reasons. But anyway, Bud came out the better man in that fight. Um, and so I think this fight is going to be a little bit, just as tough as the Errol Spence fight, but I don't think Israel Majamov is as what am I trying to say? I don't think he's going to make as many as mistakes as Errol Spence, in that fight. Again, Israel Majamov is the younger fighter. He's a natural 154. You got Bud moving up. One thing that you always interested to see when a guy is moving up, usually the skill set goes up with you, but not always the power. So Bud displayed some very raw power in that fight against Errol Spence himself, as he was knocking Errol Spence back with the jab. And again, he was able to finish him off with a couple counters. And at the end of the fight, he was just doing whatever he wanted to do. But in this fight, as much as Israel Majamov reminds me a little bit of Errol Spence, he's nothing like Errol Spence, and even said that in the press conference to his credit. He also said that Bud Crawford is his favorite fighter, and that he studies Bud tirelessly for, when he's beginning his fights. He incorporates a lot of stuff that Bud does, which you can see it in his footwork, naturally. So he ain't capping when he say that. And I think Israel Majumov is Russian. Uh, I forget his nationality, but um, and he don't speak very good English. But anyway, he said that he studied Bud. Bud is his favorite fighter, so I believe him. So we might get a taste of some. We might get a spin of some student versus teacher here inadvertently. But we all know what Bud do. We know Bud do what he does what he does. Bud is a fighter's fighter. Why I like and respect Bud is he don't do all that talking. He don't do too much talking in the media. In fact, when Bud does try to do that talking stuff in the media, he does it. He's not good at it at all. He comes off very cringe, very goofy when he try to do the social media stuff. So I like it when Bud is in the zone that he's in right now, where he's just focused on fighting. He does this thing with his family, he posts that kind of stuff on social media. I follow him. But at the end of the day, Bud is in the lab, always working on his fighting. If he ain't working on his own stuff, he's always in the gym with the Shakur Stevensons, the Keyshawn Davises, excuse me, the guys in his stable, the younger stable mates that he has. So he's always that's why I say I love Bud for. And I'm interested to see if his power goes up to 154 with him, because if it doesn't, he might find himself, in a hot kitchen, with Israel Majumov. Another thing about Israel Majumov, just like Bud, he's a very good closer of his fights. When he smells blood in the water, I would hate for Bud to get dazed. Kind of like how Devin Haney did with Ryan Garcia. If he get into that loopy mode, man, it's gonna be a sad day in boxing, for me, to see Bud lose to this guy. But Israel definitely has the power. He has the ability to close the fight. Like I said, just like Bud does. So that's impressive about the young man. This fight is going down on August 3rd. I'm gonna try to call it myself. I'm gonna try to call the fight myself. We'll see what happens. Um, for me to do that, I had to buy it. I had to buy the fight, and I said I wasn't buying this fight because I'm personally tired of these predictable outcomes. Now, as much as I'm singing Israel Majumov's praises, phenomenal fighter, he ain't no A+ fighter. He has a lot of flaws in his game. He could easily, what I mean, slip up, trying to do too much, getting overexcited, So I'm not saying this fight is a 50-50 by any chance. So if it's not a 50-50 fight that I want to see, it's bootleg gang, bro. So that's why I say I would love to call the fight, but for the fact of the matter that I didn't want to see this fight, I'd much rather see Bud fight Fundora. I would have paid for that. Or I would have fought. I would have paid for him to see Charlo. I still want to see him and Charlo fight. So, at 154, you know what I mean? Just where everything is right now, Charlo is still a champion at 154, or at least he held all the belts. He was undisputed. I think he's been stripped, but I would still love to see Terrence Crawford and Jermell Charlo. I would pay for that fight, but I don't know about this fight here. So we might just hit up the bootleg gang. We might get the links. If you need a link to the fight, hit me up fight night. Hit me up a couple hours before, because they get to a point, a couple the minutes before you gotta already be in the rooms. These chats, it be on Vietnamese, Philippine VPNs. We be 100%. I don't know. I'll be with the nerds, man. You know what I mean? Those kind of nerds that just happen to like boxing as well. So, but if you need a link, you hit me up. Bootleg gang is always active, especially when it's on fight nights and it's fights that we didn't ask for, but we still want to see. I still want to see this fight. So, and of course, I'll give my fight prediction. I said I was gonna make a video dedicated to it, but let me go drop it now. Bud in 6. This dude is food. So that's usually about the time when Bud get these tomato cans out of there anyway. Not calling Israel Majumov a tomato can, but just Bud is an A++ fighter. I say Israel is about a B+. You know what I mean? It's some other guys, I guess. At 154, I could see him beating. He's 26-0. So no, is he 26-0? I forget his record. I'm thinking of Jarrell Miller. When I was watching Jarrell Miller and Daniel Dubois fight, and they showed his record. He was 26-0. I don't know why I had that in my head, but anyway, I believe Israel Majumov is still undefeated. He's definitely a champion, so it's a strap on the line. for this fight. So, but I got Bud in 6. You know what I mean? I feel like Bud gonna test him out them first 3 rounds. You know, if you're not familiar with Bud's work, he does the same kind of thing Tank does, where he plays around those first few rounds. He might drop those first 2, 3 rounds just because he's studying you, and then after that, you know, he starts putting on the show. You know, start showing, displaying his skills. He might switch hit on you. You know, switched up the game plan completely. So, but yeah, I got Bud at 6 in that fight. So we'll see what happens. Might change it up if Israel Marjamal do something or say something in these press conferences that impress me. I doubt it though. We're talking about Bud Crawford. But that's it for that segment, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for episode 1. If y'all don't mind, once again, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. We will be back here in 24 hours. I'm be doing my research, catching some more topics, see what's going on in these sports streets. And yeah, man, I definitely appreciate y'all. This is gonna be the official podcast. Got the official setup. Shout out to Man Down Sports, my big bro Melvin Wall. He's been giving me my mentor, you know, some tips and stuff. So I had to get my, you know, I know it ain't perfect, big bro. When you check this out, you know, shout out to you. I know it ain't perfect, but here we go. You know, we starting off somewhere. Also, I'm starting my my petition to get in my studio. I'm a full-time daddy, full-time sports reporter, so I need to kind of separate, you know what I mean? You know, get a little separation in there. So I want to get a studio, a music studio, a production studio, as well as a podcasting studio. Got a lot of dreams and visions for this thing here. And I got other people, you know, that make content, that do different things. Shout out to my boy, Trey Catalyst. He's a musician. You know, me and him chop it up a lot. I'm going to have him do the music department, or, you know, we're going to partner up. He'll be over the music department. I'll be over the podcasting. And we're going to do our things, man. You know, turn these dreams and these visions into reality. That's what life is all about. So, again, thank you all for all the love and support. Thank you for pulling up to episode 1 of the One of One podcast. Shout out again to Man Down Sports, Eel Sports, to Caden Spence, IOW, my big bro Wildcard Mar, and all those guys over there, amongst so many others, man. I'm gonna shout everybody out in a separate video. But anyway, I am Tony the Savant. Y'all have a great night. Peace.